Well off, sir.
Okay, you can get the door. Bear with me 1 second, Israel. Bear with a priest for a little bit. Most High Christ. Right, Shalom, Israel, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua Barakatham, Yahweh Shema, Thum Ba'Shem Yahshua, Priest and Officer 1000 Yadai. I'm holding the history class down for the priest and Cabinet 13,000, Shapar and Apash. Now, Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, why is our history important? Why is it important for us to understand our identity and our culture? Because now is the time for us to take our identity back, to take our heritage back and our culture. Because we are more than just simple niggas, spicks, and savages. We are God's chosen people. Shalom, what's going on? You got any questions? Yeah. Most High Christ. Now, Black man, Latino man, and woman, let's start with this, if I may. Give me Leviticus 20 and 26. First, let me show you why we have to separate from the oppressor and why we have to separate from America. Here in America, we are taught, that everybody is created equal. And let me tell you something, that is a goddamn lie, even to the oppressor's standards. In their history books, they teach that all men are created equal, but Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are 3/5 of a human being. There's no equality with this oppressor, and neither should we want it. We should not want equality with these heathens, because we have to understand, as the Lord's chosen people, we are above them. The problem is our people get caught up in their ways, in their customs, in their cultures, and even their gods and their holidays. And we have to let all of these things go. What do I mean? A lot of you are going to get together and celebrate Halloween. And what I don't understand, and we all have children, right, brother? We teach our kids to not talk to strangers. But that one day out of the year, you're going to send your child to a stranger's home where they're going to get candy? Come on. How simple can we be? How irresponsible can we be as Blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians? Now is the time to separate from Halloween. A lot of you out there are, 25, 26, you are grown-ass man and woman, still dressing up in costume, thinking it's cool. Grow up. Now is the time to realize, man, that Halloween, just like Thanksgiving and Christmas, are pagan holidays that the oppressor, has had our people accustomed to. But we have to understand, right, as the Lord's chosen people, Shalom, that Malachi's daughter, Most High Christ. But we have to understand, man, as, God's chosen people, is that God wants us indeed to separate from these heathens and their customs and their culture, and from them in general. If I could, brother, what's your name? Raz. My man, young man, Raz, can you give me Leviticus, the 20th chapter and the 26th verse? I'm going to show you separation in the Bible, that God does not want everybody to be all kumbaya and to be equal. To show you that we shouldn't. Say again, brother? Yeah, Leviticus, the 20th chapter and the 26th verse. He all right about it. He know the raise his hand. I was talking to him directly. It's 2 hours. The water warrior.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me.
And ye shall be holy unto me. What we have to understand, right, is the word holy. The word holy does not mean what a lot of our people thinks it means. When you generally think about something that's holy, right, you think about your mama with that crazy feathered hat on at church. You think about your poor auntie and your grandma. You think about your pastor and your imam with the white robe and gown on. That's not what it means to be holy. Holy, when you look it up, means to be separate. The Lord is saying, and ye. shall be separate unto me. God is telling all Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians that we should be separate unto him. Now, who does that eliminate right there? That eliminates the oppressor. That eliminates the Asians and the Africans and the East Indians and the Samoans. That eliminates all of these different heathens when you think about it. Even when you look at the Bible, right? It's called the Holy Bible, meaning this is not for everybody. This was separate unto us, meaning God gave us, you know what I mean, this Bible. God gave us these scriptures, these laws, statutes, and commandments. And what is it doing right now, Abad? Collecting dust. Collecting dust on your dresser, on your desk, you know what I mean? All our people know is John 3:16 and don't know the proper understanding of it, thinking it's talking about all people, but that's talking about Israelites. When God right here is saying that ye shall be holy unto me, meaning you shall be separate. Read on, brother.
For I, the Lord, am holy.
For I, the Lord, am holy. Meaning, wait a minute, brother. Hold on. Let's slow it down a little bit. Meaning, God is holy. Meaning, God is separate. Meaning, we have been lied to, man. We've been bamboozled. They've been lying to us for how many years? Telling us that God loves everybody, that he loves all races of people. We should all be together. But God is telling the Israelites, and who are the Israelites today? Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, that ye shall be separate unto me. For I, the Lord, am holy. For God is separate. Meaning this, God is not the quote officer of 500 Zarwai. God is not your personal genie in a bottle, where he just has to obey your every command and do what the hell you want him to do. Let me explain something for all you Christians out there that don't understand. God can do whatever the hell he wants to do. Meaning this, what do I mean that God can do whatever he wants to do? Meaning this, God chose us to be a separate people. You mean to tell me you go throughout your entire day hating your own brother and your sister, but loving the oppressor and loving these different heathens? You mean to tell me God can't love a particular race of people? God can't love Black, Latinos, and Native American Indians because you and your poor Christian mind can't handle that? No. God can do whatever the hell he wants. That's why he said, and ye shall be holy unto me, meaning separate, for I, the Lord, am holy, meaning God is separate. You don't even love everybody equally. You don't even love everybody. A lot of you out there hate your brother. A lot of you out there hate your sister, and it shows, man. I'll ask the question, if you have children, I love to use this analogy. If you have children, right, and you tell your son or your daughter, don't go down the street and play with them knuckleheads on the corner. They go do it. Now, when you go down the street to go punish them, do you punish them or do you punish every kid on the corner? No, you punish your children because your children are holy unto you. They're separate unto you. A lot of my mother would say this all the time. I brought you in this world, I could take you out. Well, guess what? God has a favorite people, a chosen people, a holy people, a separate people that is unto him. Read on, brother.
And have severed you from other people.
And have severed you from other people. Meaning this. If I was to sever your arm from your body, it would be no longer attached. God saw us with these heathens and said, you know what? That black man and Latino man and woman, that First Nation man and woman, I'm going to sever you. You're going to be separate unto me. God severed us from these other nations, and for good reason. Let's look at it real quick. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and it shows in their history and what they do to this day. The same thing with the Africans and the East Indians and the Asians and all of these different heathens. We're not supposed to be We're not supposed to be together with them. We have different customs. We have different cultures. And it goes to show you. Let me ask this. Let me ask a question to everyone that's watching to show that we're not the same. Our people had an infatuation with Africa. An infatuation. But you know damn well you're not trying to do none of the things that is considered to be African culture. Like, brother, did you know that Africans rub crocodile feces on their women's vaginas that can help them get fertile? They believe by rubbing crocodile dookie, right, on a woman's vagina, that can help them, you know what I mean, become fertile. You know what I mean? They can't have children. That's going to, help them. They believe that. That's science to them. You know, when they be cutting their ears and mouths open and be putting them big bowls and stuff and big hoop rings through their mouths and noses. Do our people do that? No, they don't do that because it's not in our culture. God severed us from them. God severed us from the Asians. Look at what they do. They eat everything under the sun. They eat rats and cats and dogs, which was hood mythology for years until we actually saw the clips and videos of what they're doing to them dogs, which is a damn shame. We're not the same as them. We're built different. God severed us from other people. Read on.
That ye shall be mine.
That ye should be mine, meaning we belong to God. We belong to the Most High. Topic of my class tonight, I want to go into idolatry. I want to go into these other gods and why we should stay away from them and not compromise. Because a lot of our people that are blacks and Latinos compromise here in America, compromise across the earth for what? To impress your heathen boss, to impress Bill, Bob, and Fred, and Susan, and Amber. For what? For Kong Lao? Come on now, black man, Latino man, and woman. Their gods are nothing. That's another thing I want to explain to the class. There is no other God besides Yahweh. That is our God. Our God of the Bible, name is Yahweh. These other gods, no matter what are they called? I saw this post earlier where one of them homosexual popes was saying, along with other so-called people of different faiths, saying, oh, we all serve the same God. The God of the Bible disagrees with that. Because the scriptures say this. Give me Deuteronomy 6:4.
Okay.
This is what we have to understand. I know that the Arabs worship Allah, but Allah, it does not exist. He's the figment of the imaginations of the Arabs. Buddha does not exist. Doesn't. What are the other gods? Shiva, Ma'at, Akhenaten, Geb, and all of them. That's just the figment of the imagination of the Africans and the heathens. They're not our gods. And if you notice, right, why does every nation have a god that looks like them? But who do we have? We have Caesar Borgia. We got white Jesus. Goddamn. The Asians can look at Buddha and say, that's my God. The East Indians can look at Shiva or the woman with the elephant arms or whatever and say, that's me. The Africans can look at Nufutu Nungala and the Black Panther and say, oh, I recognize with that. The Arabs have Allah, but we get white Jesus. We get the same God as the oppressor because we're still in slavery. We're still in captivity. And Christ is not God. That's another thing that our people need to understand. Is that, don't get me wrong, man, like our people are really distraught and really messed up out here. Christ is not the Most High. That's another lie that we have been taught. Jesus Christ, known as Yahweh Shah Mashiach, was a man like me and you, and the greatest man to ever walk this earth. He was born of a father and a mother. His father was Joseph. How could Christ come of the lineage of David if he came directly from the Most High? Right. Don't make sense. The scriptures even say in the wisdom of Solomon, no other king has been brought forth any other way except by the pleasure that comes with sleep. What's the pleasure that comes with sleep? Sex. Now understand this. We have to understand, man, that our God is one God and his name is Yahweh. We're going to get that right now. Read Deuteronomy 6:4.
Now God. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Read it again.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. In the Hebrew, it's Shema Yasha Allah Yahweh Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Akah. Meaning, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Meaning, our God is one God. We have to get out of this notion that there are other gods. That we have to realize that there's only one God. And that's the God of this Bible. That's the God of blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We walking around here worshiping the God of the Arabs. Here is the problem with that. And I always wanted to ask this. We can see what the God of Israel is doing to this earth, plaguing the oppressor, plaguing these other nations. You see these floods and hurricanes that's happening. Brother, if 20-foot waves is coming and drowning your city, you know what I mean, and washing you away, you have to know, man, there is a God. And that God is the God of blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. Right. That's what we have to realize. But the problem is we think that Allah has some type of power. Now, here's the problem. Nobody can show me a prophecy that was fulfilled in the Quran. Why? Because the Quran is toilet paper. The next question I would have is, with the oppressor going over there to Arabia and going over there to Iraq, messing up the Ishmaelites, all the Arabs, where was Allah then? It's a good question, right? Where's Allah? Hell, with the coronavirus, the COVID-19, all of you can attest to this. The Israelite school of UPK, these doors did not close due to the coronavirus. But guess what, brother? Did you know Allah had PTO time? Allah got paid time off. Like, they shut Mecca down. You couldn't go and do your pilgrimage or nothing. It was, you could hear a rat piss on cotton over there. And I said, God damn, Allah and Baal, Ibad, must go to the same retreat.
Right.
They must go to the same retreat. They must go to Disney World, brother. They're like, we can't deal with y'all right now. But the truth of the matter is, the fact that our people are in Christianity and Islam, that was prophesied about years ago, thousands of years ago, before any of us were even thought of. If I could, brother, could you give me Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, right? Give me Deuteronomy 4 and start at verse 27. Baba Kushal. Deuteronomy 4, verse 27. Also, I'll be taking and answering your questions tonight. If I have any questions, make sure you type them in. For any questions in the room, just ask. And now I'm going to show you the fact that we serve other gods is biblical. Let's go over the history of that. Our people think we just naturally woke up one day and became Christian, that we became Muslim, that we became 5%ers, that we became what? Egyptologists and Buddhists and what's the other thing that they do that I buy with the sisters with this? Well, now sisters are spiritualists, brother. Now sisters wear their head wraps and they all are Miss Cleo. They all want to read your palm. They all want to know when your birthday was. Like, that makes a difference in how the hell, you know what I mean, you are in your personality. I had a sister give me hell, brother, because I wouldn't tell her what my birthday was. Because they believe that because you are what, a Virgo or a Sagittarius or a Pisces, that plays in who you are and your character. And you'd be surprised. A lot of those sisters out there live and die by them horoscopes. What turned me off the horoscopes I bought long ago in the world is that I saw one that made me bust out laughing. I was crying laughing because I looked up and I was like, let me try this shit. And it said, brother, you are going to breathe today. I said, well, goddamn. So before I turned on this app and looked this up, I wasn't going to breathe. I was just going to die if I didn't look at this and decide to breathe. My sister told me that one day she's going to meet, that the horoscope told her that she's going to meet the love of her life while she's wearing red socks. I said, but if you, and I asked her, I said, how many times do you wear red socks? She's like, I wear them every day. I said, I'm going to be very honest with you. Of course, if you go by logic, if you wear them every day, you'll find the love of your life. But the way the Most High works, you might not ever meet the right brother. Or you just might meet the right brother, and that'll be the day you're not wearing red socks. You might be wearing white socks. You might be wearing slides with no socks on. Which goes to show you that horoscope stuff is garbage.
Right.
It's nonsense. And I'm going to show you in the Bible that the Lord said that we was going to serve other gods because we disobeyed our God's laws, statutes, and commandments. I also want to dispel this notion that we have free will. We do not have free will. We have to understand that our God is one God, black man, Latino man and woman, First Nation man and woman. He's our Father. He's the ultimate Father. Now the question is to all the parents, does your child have free will to do whatever the hell they want in the house that you pay for? If you said, yes, they do, you are a goddamn liar. You know damn well that your child does not have free will in your house. Some of y'all parents don't even accept opinions from your children. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you a personal story. Growing up with my father and my mother, my father used to say, I'll take it under consideration. I'll take your opinion under consideration, and completely disregard it and make me do what the hell he told me to do. And if I didn't do it, there was a consequence for it. There was a judgment, meaning there was a punishment for it. Meaning ain't no such thing as free will when it comes to our God. Our God said this, to keep these commandments and you'll be blessed. But if you disobey, if you don't do them, if you don't hearken, you will be cursed. The Lord did not give us the rule. He ain't really give us an ultimatum, meaning do what I say or be punished. And that's how our household should be with our children. That's why a lot of our kids are monsters today. That's why we're monsters today, because we're not following our God's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why we off in Christianity and Egyptology, and I'm going to show you that in the Bible. You got what I asked for, brother? Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, and start at the 27th verse.
Deuteronomy 4,
Go ahead.
verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations.
Now, the Lord said he was going to scatter us among the nations. Why is it that you can find a black or Latino or Native Indian man anywhere across the earth? Because we were scattered across the nations, because we disobeyed our God. You have black and Latino men in China. Yes, you have Israelites in Africa. I'm not saying that everybody in Ghana and Nigeria is an Israelite.
Right.
But the ones that are really being oppressed by the Africans over there, that's the Israelites. Now understand this. We're not just in Africa, we're in Asia. We're over there in the UK, we're in Europe. It's a brother in Alaska right now freezing his ass off, brother. God damn. Hooking his car up, you know what I mean, to a heater so his transmission don't, you know what I mean, don't crack. Understand this, we were scattered amongst all the nations. Read on.
And ye shall be left few in number among the heathen.
Now, that's the key part, especially with us in Africa. We're spread very thin, few among the nations. We don't make up the majority. You got fake Israelites to go to Ghana and make put everybody in their group, and they can't. Can't do that, because we were left few among the nations. The highest concentration of Israelites, of course, you know what I mean, of Judah is over here in the Americas. In the West Indian Islands is Benjamin. In Colombia, the Uruguay is Asher. Mexico is Issachar. You got a lot of Issacharites over here. Now, we're scattered all throughout the earth, but we were left few in number amongst the heathen, and we're catching hell amongst the heathen. I did an interview with some Liberian network in front of the school for an event that we did. You know, that was outside, an international event where a lot of the Issacharites had, you know, different vendors out there. I was out there. I did an interview with, some Liberian news outlet. I got permission from Officer Bun to do it. I did it. And a lot of people don't know the history behind that. Liberia was started by Israelites. A lot of us that were so-called free by Lincoln. Even though Lincoln said if I could save the Union without freeing the slaves, I'd do it. That's also history. We went back to Africa. We went to and started, you know what I mean, Liberia. Was it Liberia? Liberia. We started Liberia. And guess what? After a while, the real Africans got upset. And they went to war with us, man, killing us, man. So when you go over there to Liberia today, those who are truly being oppressed, few in number, they may be Israelites, man. And they was trying to be slick, brother. They was like, well, anybody can come here. Everyone is welcome. I'm like, hold on, Ufutu. Not everybody is welcome. I had the 12 tribes chart out there. I said, if you're not black, Latino, or Native American, and if you can't see yourself in this chart, you are not allowed in any of the doors in the Israelite school of UPK under command of GEN.YAHANNA. And he was like, understood. We may do a future interview in the future with their network. You know what I mean? I have to get permission for that. But he was slick. A lot of these Hamites is real slick, man. But they know. If you ever ask them, they'll tell you. I had an African tell me, when I say Hamite, Africans' real name are Ham. We come from Shem, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Africans come from the lineage of Ham. So when you hear me say Ham or Hamites, that's their real biblical name according to God, according to the Bible, which is backed up by the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary and the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. Because a lot of them, Israel don't believe nothing that we say, brother, but they will believe the oppressor, who's the devil that the Bible speaks of. And the oppressor put that information out and said, not the Negroes, that we're not African, that they know that we're the Israelites of antiquity. But to get back on point, right, to get back on topic, I asked the Hamite, he was from Sierra Leone. And I said, Sandy, I said, are we the same? He was like, no, we are not. He said, I am African. He was like this. He said, you are American. I'm like, I'm not African American. He's like, no, you are not African. I'm like, why you say that? He's like, we are not the same people. I was like, would you agree that your people put my people in captivity, sold us to the oppressor? He admitted it. He knows it. That's common knowledge amongst them. They have a word that they call us, and it's called akata, meaning cotton picker. They love to talk shit about us. Salakia for the language, by the way. Salakia for the language. They love to talk about us. Like, oh, you akata, like we're beneath them, when the African is beneath us. Matter of fact, all these different races of people are beneath black, Latinos, and Native American Indians. The reason why we don't know it, the reason why they were cursed, is because we disobeyed our God. because we were scattered among the nations and left few in number among the heathen because we disobeyed our power, our God. Read on, brother.
Whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
And there ye shall serve God.
And there you shall serve what?
Gods.
There you shall serve gods. Serve gods. You ever wonder why our West Indian brothers and sisters of the tribe of Benjamin, big shout out to the priest and officer I.S.U.P.K, who's a Benjamite, man. I understand it. You ever wonder why they are Rastafarians? You ever wonder why they wear them shitlocks? A lot for the language. Them dreadlocks. First of all, if I could, right? Dreadlocks are not Israelite culture. You look up lock, you know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I may have you pull it. It's in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. I believe it is in there. Lock. You know what I mean? Locks are braids. Some dreadlocks that our people wear over there in the West Indian Islands, and some of you niggas out here wearing them dreadlocks, that's East Indian culture.
Right.
That's East Indian culture. Like the scriptures say that Samson had 7 locks. Have you ever seen any brother with 7 dreadlocks? No. But you see brothers with 7 braids, right? That was Samson. You ever wonder why they're Rastafarian? Because God said we would serve other gods. Gods that we have not known. It's in there, right? About yeah, read it from.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Page 325.
Mm-hmm.
Locks. The second definition. In Numbers 6 and 5, the term indicates the unshorn and disheveled locks of the Nazarite.
Mm-hmm.
In Judges 6 and 13 and verse 19, the braided locks.
The what? Wait. The what?
The braided locks.
Read that real slow.
The braided locks.
The braided locks. When you see locks are just braids. That's all they are. You know how dreadlocks are made? You do realize, right, if you just leave your hair alone and let it grow, your hair is naturally going to lock up and all that dead hair is going to go. It is disgusting, brother. I saw a brother, right, dip his dreadlocks in water. Like his dreadlocks was like 40 pounds, and all of the dirt that came up, it was enough dirt to pollute the Nile River, and it was enough to pollute the Nile, which is already polluted. The Africans is messing it up, and the Jordan. It was enough. It was enough dirt, you know what I mean, in his dreadlocks to make the Dead Sea dead again. That's how filthy them dreadlocks are, man. And even when you look up, you know what I mean, in their culture, that's an East Indian custom. Like if you ever look, you know what I mean, and I've dwelled and looked at these different religions, right? And religion comes from the Greek word religio, which means to govern. Like let them govern themselves, whatever type of religion they want. They govern us with Christianity and Islam right now. And Rastafarianism and all different types of religions, man. Where we need to be governed by our Bible, by our God and our laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And the I.S.U.P.K are the real governors. Now understand this, under Christ, the braided locks, meaning locks are just braids. Them dreadlocks, them Rastafarians wear, they're not even realizing that it's an East Indian custom, that they do that. And it goes to their god or goddess, Shiva. They got a transsexual god, brother. They got a transformer, Shiva. It could be male or female. I think they call it, what they call that about? Asexual? Or whatever the term, I don't know. It's an abomination. It's an abomination. But understand this. Our people get caught up, right, in that mythos and think, oh, it's our culture, when it is not. Our culture is braids. That is what we wear, and that's what we wore from thousands of years ago when we were first in Egypt in slavery, man, under them Africans. We wore our braids, man. We wasn't wearing no dreadlocks. Now, not even just, you know what I mean, serving the different gods, you know, of the East Indians, who was Elam in the Hebrew. We worship the God, you know what I mean, of the other Asians. We worship Buddha. There's sisters out here, brother, that pray to Buddha. That pray to Buddha. You mean to tell me, and I'm sorry, Israel, but you know, I gotta do it. I have to do it. I do I like to crack on these different gods, but I gotta do it. First of all, these Moabites, these Chinese and Japanese, they can't go a day without eating a rat and a cat and a dog. You mean to tell me that they had the same discipline, you know what I mean, to fast and only eat 1 grain of rice? Get the hell up out of here. When they can't stop eating pangolins out by
Right.
I didn't know what the hell a pangolin was. I didn't. I had no idea what a pangolin was, but they eat it. You mean to tell me, and it just goes to show you, right? And it just goes to show you, like as blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man, that we have been serving these other gods for far too long, and now is the time to serve our God, the God of Israel. Read on, brother. Matter of fact, read it again from the top.
Deuteronomy 4, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands.
And there ye shall serve gods, the works of men's hands. Read that line again real slow, brother. Love for sure.
And there ye shall serve gods.
And there ye shall serve gods. Read on.
The work of men's hands.
The works of men's hands. Meaning this. Now, these gods right here are the works of men's hands. Meaning a man created this. Meaning when you worship Buddha, right? Buddha is made out of what? Stone and wood. Either or. When you go and worship, you know what I mean? When you go and pray to the stars and make little altars and sacrifices or whatever for those different type of, you know what I mean, gods and their religions, right? Understand this. You're worshiping something that was made by another man's hand. That's what you're doing. And that's what I never really understood, right, with Egyptology. I never understood this with Egyptology for this reason. Our people like to tell us that Omo and Ammon and Geb and Ma'at and the 42 negative confessions. You mean to tell me that we have to worship gods that were created by men's hands? Somebody made that.
Right.
Somebody made that. Raise your hand if you know somebody that can draw in school. We all do, right? We all know somebody that can do that. That'd be like you, brother. You go and build an eagle with a lion's head, with a bear on the back that's standing up tall, you know what I mean? And you create a symbol for it. And then I come around and bow myself down to it. You're going to be looking at me like, this nigga is crazy. I made this with my hands. But that's what we do. We worship gods that were made by men's hands. And how do we know that? What did we do when we came out of Egypt? When Moses left us for 10 minutes, I understood he was gone for 40 days. But guess what? Moses went up to the mountains, you know what I mean, to convene, talk with the Most High, receive the law. But guess what? We go down there, we build a golden calf, and we start to worship that. That's how I knew that we are the same stiff-necked people that the Bible speaks of, brother. Because only black Latinos and Native American Indians could be that arrogant. Right. I can see the entire Red Sea split. We saw the Red Sea, we saw it split. We saw the Most High put one side of water over here and the other side over there and bring a fiery tornado out from a chariot and destroy Africans. We saw that with our own eyes and said, let's go back to Egypt. Only our people are that stiff-necked that can do that. Read on, brother.
Wood and stone, which neither
Whoa. Wood and what?
Wood and stone.
What's the wood? Let me ask you, what's the wood, brother? The wood that we serve today. If you know. Go ahead.
That would be the cross.
That would be the cross.
Christian service.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is the stone?
Stone would be that copper stone they walk around in Mecca.
Get that brother a hand. He is correct. Young man raise a hand, man. He's right. That wooden cross and that Kaaba stone. It said Kaaba. Kamtazar did a debate with this Nation of Islam brother, right? And he was like, we don't worship the Kaaba stone. You know what I mean? We don't worship that. We don't worship the stone. And then they went in there, and then Kamtazar went into their Quran and showed it. And it said that they worship the Kaaba stone. And I was blown, and Captain Cesare, I bust out laughing, was so blown away because it actually said verbatim that they worship a rock. And which is so hardcore. And I'm going to remind me to do this tomorrow, everybody. The generals and the captains back in the day, right, would go and get a rock, a big enough rock, and write Allah and stand on it at camp. I am going to do that all day tomorrow. I'm just going to, when I go out there to speak, I'm just going to stand on the rock with Allah written on it because that's all it is. It's a stone. And understand this, Adam did not erect the first Kaaba stone. That's a goddamn lie that the Arabs try to say.
Right.
Adam was a black man. And guess what? Don't get me wrong, we all come from Adam. But the seed that was chosen out of Adam, the chosen people was black Latinos, a Native American Indians, man. We have to understand, man, like as the Lord's chosen people, we have really been lied to. We have been deceived. We have. Because we walking around worshiping the God of the Christian church, we're worshiping Caesar Borgia, and we're worshiping the Kaaba stone. It befuddles me, brother. Read the last part again real slow. Which neither
see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell.
It doesn't. They don't see, they don't hear, they don't even smell. Meaning they're idols. They are idols, and they can't do those things. Let me break down something to you real quick, and it just came to me, and I want to go into this as well because this is the history class, and I'm glad it came to me. Are you aware, right, that our people do worship Caesar Borgia? When you go to lay your Christian head to sleep at night, you think about that devil with the blonde hair and blue eyes. Are you aware? You know what I mean? That even doing that is in the Bible. If I could, give me Wisdom of Solomon. I believe it's 14 and verse 15.
Okay.
Yeah, give me Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 15. But we have to understand, right? You know what I mean? The Bible holds our records, our history. And now I'm going to give you a little bit of it. Now, Caesar Borgia was the son of Rodrigo Borgia, who was Pope Alexander VI of Rome. Now, we have to understand this. When Caesar Borgia died, the Pope Alexander Rodrigo Borgia was distraught. And he changed the image of the greatest man ever walked this earth, Yahweh, meaning Jesus, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, when his name is Yahweh Mashiach. Understand this. That's in the Bible that they were going to do that they were going to change the image of our king into that oppressor. It's in the Bible. Because when he died, as a matter of fact, let's read. Read Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 15.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
For a father afflicted.
Now, for a father afflicted. Who is that father afflicted? The father afflicted is Rodrigo Borgia, the Pope Alexander. He's the one that is afflicted. Read on. Why is he afflicted? Read on.
With untimely mourning.
With untimely mourning, meaning his child died. His child died. It was sudden. He going through it. Read on.
When he had made an image of his child soon taken away.
Now, he made an image of his child soon taken away. Keep in mind, image. Read on.
Now honor him as a god.
Now honor as a what?
God.
Now you honor his fallen child as a god. Now let me give you the history behind that. When Alexander Borgia, right? When Pope Alexander Borgia decided, right, to make that image of Jesus Christ into his homosexual bastard son, you know what I mean, Caesar Borgia, he commissioned his homosexual lover, his son's homosexual lover, Michelangelo. And I'm not talking about that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle neither. I'm talking about Michelangelo from the TMNT, brothers and sisters. The painter. He commissioned him to make Christ, a black man, into the image of that homosexual. That's why there's a father afflicted with untimely mourning. The child shall be soon taken away. Read on from there.
So God.
Now honored him
as a god.
Now honored him as a god. Now Caesar Borgia is honored as a god. How is he honored as a god? When our people go to church on Sunday, what image is on the wall? We see it. You see that homosexual bastard on the walls. And they say, oh, that's not my Jesus. That's my Jesus Christ. Or they'll say something like this, so arrogant. What does it matter what color he is? How the hell would you recognize him when he came back? How the hell are you going to recognize him?
Right.
Meaning by the Christian church logic, Christ can walk in that church tomorrow and they ain't going to know who the hell he is. They ain't going to know. Because they're too busy thinking that he's an oppressor. When Christ was not an oppressor, when Christ was a black man like you and me. Read on.
Which was then a dead man.
Now he was then a dead man. I mean, he was dead. Caesar Borgia is dead. He's been dead for years. Read on.
And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies.
Delivered unto him what?
Ceremonies.
What the hell do they do in church every Sunday? What do they do in church? They give ceremonies to that devil. They gonna do it. They gonna do it this year. They're going to do it this year. You know what I mean? They're going to do it on Christmas, which is Saturnalia, which is a pagan holiday from the Romans. The Bible says not to celebrate Christmas as well. I'll go into that in a later class. They're going to deliver ceremonies unto him. You go in there, bang the tambourine and sing and dance and cry and eat all the chitlins and the hog balls that you could eat, all the crab and the lobster while your kids is getting molested. These pastors have something coming to them, black man, Latino man.
That's right.
They got something coming to them for the evil that they do. Now is delivered unto this wicked bastard ceremonies. Read on.
And sacrifices.
And sacrifices. And sacrifices. What are the sacrifices? I can go deep and deep and deep with the sacrifices. You sacrifice your integrity, you know what I mean, and who you are when you go in there and worship that God, man. When you worship the God of the Christian church, which is not the God of the Bible. You got to understand that we have been lied to as blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. We have been lied to as the Lord's chosen people. Now they honor that bastard as a God. And now the question is, man, what are you going to do as the Lord's chosen people? What are we going to do? Are you going to continue to go into the Christian church? Are you going to continue to go into the Muslim mosque? Understand that you do not have to compromise yourself, black man, Latino man and woman. We're going to read about a brother and brothers that did not compromise. I'm going to go into it in a little bit, but first I want to get two scriptures. If I could, brother, give me Matthew 6 and 24, and I buy give me 1 Corinthians 10 and 21.
Okay.
But let me get Matthew 6 and 24 first, brother. Let me get that. Again, if y'all have any questions, make sure y'all type them in. I'll be answering your questions tonight. All right, bobbity. Let me know when you got it, brother. Just raise your hand. All right, go ahead, read for me.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters.
If I may ask you, brother, what's the color of those words?
They are red.
You know what that means when the colors are red? It means Christ is speaking. Christ is saying no man can serve two masters. Meaning this, you can't serve two masters, black man, Latino man, and woman. You cannot serve the oppressor and serve the God of this Bible. Read on.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
Either he will hate the one and love the other. What does that mean? Either you will hate the one and love the other. What does that mean? Meaning you'll hate the Most High. You'll hate the Most High so much. You know what I mean? That when the Lord says, I'll give you an example of how you hate the one and love the other. God said that pork was an abomination unto us. And we're not supposed to eat swine. But the oppressor says to the other white meat, you hold on dear to the oppressor. You love him for it. Y'all love pig feet, pig butt. Y'all love bacon. You understand this, man? When God said it was an abomination, you mean to tell me that you can't give up bacon? Brother, I don't get. Israel, I have to let y'all know. There's something called turkey bacon out there. Turkey bacon, you know what I mean, fried crispy is amazing. We're not even going to talk about how the deliciousness of beef bacon. Like beef bacon, when you fry beef bacon just right, pork bacon cannot contend with it.
Right.
Goes to show you, man, like our people are not even trying. You're not even trying to give an alternative. Like I was flabbergasted. This is to give you one small story. I slaved in a supermarket, and brother was real. This older brother was saying he got heart. He messed up. Health wise. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ain't got no regular scrapper. You do got beef scrapper. I got turkey scrapper for you. He said, I'll take that. But then he ran to my supervisor. He ran to brother ain't know no better. He said, oh, let me go in the back and get the pork scrapper for you. The reason why I ain't go back to get him the pork scrapper. Because you telling me you got health issues, brother. You shouldn't be eating that. That's why you got health issues, man. Trying to help you. But it goes to show you, our people will go an extra mile to do what's an abomination to the Most High. Right. Imagine if we put just that same effort into doing what our God told us to do, man. The problem is we never thought about that. It never became an option. That's why when you come into these classes, right, and tune in online, it's important to understand, man, that you can fight your demons. You can keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You can be perfect. Christian church says no man is perfect. That's a goddamn lie. Christ said, be ye perfect as our Father in heaven is perfect. Being perfect is simply keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's all we got to do. That is all we have to do, black man, Latino man, and woman. Keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and have faith in our King, Yahweh Shah, Mashiach, man. No man can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one, you know what I mean, and love the other, meaning you hate the Most High. You hate the Most High to a core. God said, don't be no homosexual. And then the oppressor says it's an alternative way of living. And you take that and you run with it. You take that and you run with it because the oppressor said so. Understand this, man. You can't compromise this truth. The read on, you know what I mean? It says you cannot serve God and mammon, meaning this. You cannot serve Baal. You can't serve like Jesus. You can't serve Allah, and you can serve the God of Israel. I pray you understand. Now, Bob, give me what you got.
Okay. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, and verse 24. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Verse 25.
Wait a minute, it's like 1 Corinthians 10 and 21?
Oh, 10 and 21. Okay.
Yeah, 10 and 21. Read that.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, and verse 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
You cannot what?
Drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
Let me tell you something. You walk in these doors, right, and you come beginning to change your life as a black, Latino, or First Nation man and woman. Understand this, right? I'll tell you what you have to do. You cannot come up in here, right? Can't come up in here and think you're going to be in here, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah, Yahweh Shemar, Thumba Shem Yahshua, and then you out there still smoking weed, popping whores, being a homosexual and a drug addict. No, you cannot. You can't drink a cup of the Lord and a cup of your oppressors. I pray you understand. Read on.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
You can't sit up in here, right? Being in brothers' faces, right? Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah, Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Sister, you can't do that and still think you're going to be going to church, being a wicked bastard, being a whore and a whoremonger. Nope. Read on. There any more?
Verse 22. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy?
Do we what?
Provoke the Lord to jealousy?
Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Our God is a jealous God, man. Our God don't want us in the Muslim mosque, don't want us in the Christian church. My dear mother, right? I love my mother to death. But understand this, man. I love Yahweh Shah more. Right. I love our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach more. I love our God Yahweh more. I love y'all brothers and sisters more, man. I love y'all more than my own family. Because Christ said, paraphrasing, Christ was at camp and his mother came and his siblings and the disciples came and said, they were like, my Lord, your mother is here, your brother is here, your sister. Christ said, who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my sister? And then turned to the disciples at camp. Those that do the will of the Lord. If you're doing the will of the Most High, you're an I.S.U.P.K. I love you more than my own family. Right. Not saying that we don't love our families. I know that we do. But we gotta love these brothers and sisters in this truth more, man.
Right.
Because guess what? Especially for those of us that do Hebrew Academy.
Right.
Listen, my mama ain't out there on Sundays with me. No woman should be out there. No, but your little friends in the world, your brothers in the world, they ain't out there in that field struggling with you.
Right.
Hell no. But them brothers that's in all black, they out there with you, man. Struggling, fighting for Christ's kingdom, man. I pray you understand. Don't provoke the Lord to jealousy, man. Because our God is a jealous God. And you shall have no other gods before me. And now I want to get into the gist of my topic, right? Now, understand this as Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You don't have to compromise in this kingdom. You know what I mean? You don't have to. Like a lot of our people say, well, it's impossible to keep the law because we're in captivity. Now, understand this, Black man, Latino man, and woman. My question is, what about Daniel? Daniel was in captivity. We're about to read about 3 other brothers, right, that was in captivity, man. That was in, you know what I mean, the captivity of the Persians and the Medes. If I may, let me get Daniel, the 3rd chapter.
Okay.
I want to go into Daniel, and I want to go into some brothers, right, that did not compromise, you know what I mean, this truth, that stood strong. A lot of our people know, right, and saw what happened with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon came out there and said that Blacks and Latinos are the real Jews, man. Native Indians too. And we the Israelites of antiquity. But then the oppressor came and got on him, right? He backed off. He tap danced back. He took his show from him. He started singing a different tune, sat down with a rabbi and was like, well, I was wrong for saying what I'm saying. Nick, let's go to show you, man, that entertainers are not qualified to be the leaders of Israel.
Right.
The leaders of Israel right here at the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Every Black, Latino, and Native American Indian should be following Commander General Yohanna. He is our leader. That is the leader of all Israelites right now. And guess what? Until Christ returns, that is who we have to turn to, man. That's our leader. You looking for righteous leadership. Commander General Yohanna don't sing, he don't dance, don't rap, ain't going to tap dance, and is not going to compromise this truth. You know what happens under Commander General Yohanna? Things get done. What are the things that get done? The mission to Acuna gets done. When nobody wanted to go to them cartel-infested lands in Mexico to feed God's chosen people, man, our Haitian brothers and sisters of the tribe of Levi, but we did. We didn't even consider the danger. We just went out there to feed our people. That's the type of work that gets done here in the Israelite School of I.S.U.P.K. Can your church compare? Can your fake Israelite group compare? No, they cannot. They don't even come close. I don't even want to talk about them anymore because they're not worth talking about. You know the work that gets done here in the Israelite School of I.S.U.P.K. under Commander General Yohanna. And he didn't compromise this truth. He held on to him and General Muhammad, General Mayap, General Hazayan, General Shalmar, General Kathumbar, General Kabalama, and these captains, Captain Tawar, Captain Shah, Captain Makabad, Captain Nayak, Captain Shapar and the Pops, like holding it down, Captain Cesaria, Captain Captain Katazar, Captain Ahmad Shaw, Captain Zuko, Captain Ariel, holding this troop down, man. Officers like Bahaya coming up every day, man. And this is the work that we do. We don't compromise in this kingdom. You don't have to.
Right.
That's for the weak that say, oh, I read about a brother, right? It was this brother, and I had a homie in the world, right, that sent me an article about this brother, right? And he was like, man, they're going to be in trouble now. They're going to be in trouble now. They messed up. He was like, Kwam Yashala gave me the fist. He said it was this football player, right? This high school football player, a brother. He said he was forced to eat a pepperoni pizza because they found out that he was a Hebrew Israelite. And he was so upset that he had to eat this pepperoni pizza, right, to remain on the football team. You know what I mean? And he ate it. He ate the pepperoni pizza. And he went to the news, and then they're trying to give backlash, you know what I mean, to the school and the coaches and the other athletes that made him do it. Now, my question is, brother, to you, was the brother right or wrong? Right or wrong for what? He let his coaches, eating the pizza. He was wrong. He was wrong. Why was he wrong? It was against the commandments. Give him a hand. The brothers don't understand that. Like my homie told me, he was so happy. He was like, yeah, that young brother know he an Israelite, man. And I was like, but he ate the pepperoni pizza. Which goes to show you what? He loved football more than the Most High. Damn, all that. I wish they would. Let me tell you some small story, man. I remember I was at my slavery, different slavery, about 2 years ago. I think I just became an officer, right? And I was contemplating fasting. I didn't eat none that night, and I said, damn. I said, should I fast or not? I go upstairs, right? I said, I'm gonna eat something. I said, the job is giving away free food. I go upstairs. The hoagies got pork in it. They got crab and lobster upstairs. And they was like, oh man, you die, get what you want. I was like, Lord, it's just meant for me to fast today. this is meant for me to fast today. Because I'm not gonna eat. All this food is unlawful. When I tell you all the food was unlawful, brother, everything upstairs in the break room was unlawful. And I was just like, well, goddamn, there was nothing lawful. You know what I mean? Goes to show you. That brother compromised, man. He want to be upset and say, oh, maybe eat a pepperoni pizza. It means you love football more than the Most High. He couldn't have been a brother in the Israelite school at UPK. He'd have been like, the hell with you and this football team. I'm not doing that. And just throw the jersey on the ground and leave. And then, that'll show you that the Lord is with you. The Lord wasn't with that young brother, man. People that got excited over that. Now we're about to read about 3 brothers that did not compromise. And these 3 brothers, man, are one west to the core. If I read Daniel, the 3rd chapter, and the 1st verse.
Okay. This is the book of Daniel, 3 and verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold.
Now, who was Nebuchadnezzar? Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon. We were led into Babylon because we disobeyed the Most High, because we kept sinning. We were led into Babylon under Nebuchadnezzar. This was the 2nd major captivity we went in after Egypt, under the Babylonians. Read on.
Whose height was 80 cubits.
This was a huge gold statue that Nebuchadnezzar erected. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have the Las Vegas cookout. Big shout out to Las Vegas too. There is a statue of Nebuchadnezzar, right, in Vegas. Right? They built it, I believe, like last year, right, Bob, or finished it. And I remember looking at it and be like, yo, this is straight out of the Bible. Right. This is Nebuchadnezzar. This is what he erected. Read on. Go to show you that these heathen know. They know who we are, black man, Latino man and woman, First Nation man and woman. But let's read on.
And the breadth thereof 6 cubits.
Read on.
He set it up in the plain of Dora, in the province of Babylon. Verse 2. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king set together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces.
Now, Nebuchadnezzar got together everybody with some authority in Babylon, and he's about to make a decree. Let's find out what that decree is. Read on.
To come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Now, this is what Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Read on.
Verse 3. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Now, he set this up. He set up this image. Now, this is what they're getting ready to declare. Read on.
And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Verse 4. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. Verse 5. That at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet.
Now, when you start to hear the sound of the cornet, now Nebuchadnezzar is saying all people, different, nations and languages. This is about to be decreed to all people. This is what you're going to do when you start to hear this music. Read on.
Flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. Verse 6. And whoso falleth not down and worship.
Now, when you hear this music, and whosoever does not fall down and worship this image, this is the punishment. Read on.
And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
They're going to be cast into what?
A burning fiery furnace.
Meaning, if you did not bow down when that music came on to that statue that Nebuchadnezzar erected, you was going into a fiery furnace. They was going chicken stir fry you if you ain't bow down to that image, brother. It's gonna make real orange juice out of you. I'm trying to tell you. Now, Ibahaya, drop down to verse 12.
Verse 12. There are certain Jews.
Now, there are certain Jews. There were some Jews, black men, Latino men and women that did not decide to do this. There were certain Jews, there were certain black men, read on,
whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
Now, wait. They were what?
Whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
Now, there were Jews, right, that were set over the provinces of Babylon. Meaning this. Nebuchadnezzar put 3 brothers in charge of provinces. Meaning, how can I put it in today's terms? Nebuchadnezzar took 3 black men and made them governors of, certain parts of Babylon, right, where they were pretty high-ranking brothers in captivity. Now, read on.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Remember these names: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were over provinces. Imagine you're over, like you get casted, and Nebuchadnezzar took the best amongst us too. He took those of us that had many skills, in architecture, that were, that dealt with the law, the doctors. He took the best amongst us to Babylon and put us to work and made some of us over different provinces. Meaning you're in captivity, but you're under the king of the Babylonians. You're serving him. You're governing and you have a job to do. You have a slavery. Your slavery is that you're the governor of this portion of Babylon.
Right.
Now, they heard this. Read on.
These men, have not regarded thee.
Let me give you a visual. This was Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. Shadrach and Abednego, this is going on over here in this province of Babylon. All right, we should probably use the king's treasury for this. Oh, they said, what? Abednego was, Meshach and Abednego was like, yo, Shadrach, they probably they probably just having a continuous conversation. And I know it was some upper time Negroes, somebody or some of the heathens was like, you're not bowing down to the image? Don't you know when this music plays, you're supposed to bow down to Nebuchadnezzar? You're going into the fiery furnace? Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego looked at each other and was like, yeah, we ain't going to do that, dog. Yeah, got to settle the affairs over here. Didn't pay it no mind. They're like, I'm not doing that, period. Which is so hardcore what they did. They're high-ranking men in captivity. They could have said, nah, man, we got to do this, or we'll lose our station. We won't be governor. We won't be ruling over the province of Babylon. When they didn't give a damn about that, because they understood something that was even greater. They did not fear Nebuchadnezzar. They did not fear Babylon. As a matter of fact, brother, if you could, give me, bear with me 1 second. Give me Proverbs 1 and verse 7. Hold that for me. Read on.
They serve not thy gods.
They serve what?
Not thy gods.
Man, they serve not thy gods. Now, understand this. Said they serve not thy gods. They snitch, man. Let me tell you something. These heathen, they start snitching. They start singing like canaries. They ran to Nebuchadnezzar and was like, yo, Nebuchadnezzar, you take what these Jews, you take what these niggas doing, man. They not bowing down, Nebuchadnezzar. I told them, but they kept on doing what they was doing. Or they probably was just chilling. And here's the sad thing. These brothers didn't compromise, man. They didn't do it. A lot of you Negroes, man, I remember when Kaepernick took that knee. A lot of y'all took knees with him, and then midway through the season, you start standing up again. Some of y'all didn't meet with that brother at all. Go to show you, man, that if you ain't one West, you know what I mean? The Spirit of the Lord ain't in you, man. And if you are the Spirit of the Lord coming on you, I best you coming to the Israelite school of U.P.K, man. Right. The man that you're supposed to be the strong Black, Latino, and First Nation man you're supposed to be the strong sister God intended you to be, man. You compromising for less. For less. Some of y'all compromising to eat a pepperoni pizza to play football. And I'm supposed to give you props for that? When these three men are facing death at the hands of being thrown in a fiery furnace, they said to hell with that. And why did they say to hell with that? Let me get what you got, brother. Proverbs 27.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
Read that again from the top.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, man. You think you smart? You think you have real knowledge, man? Fear God. That is what real knowledge is, man. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego understood, man, that they don't have to fear Nebuchadnezzar or Babylon, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Read on.
But fools despise wisdom and
instruction. Meaning those of you that compromise, you foolish, man. You despise wisdom and instruction. You don't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It's too hard for you. It's easier to eat pork. It's easy to be a Christian. It's easy to slam your face down to a rock, to a goddamn rock. It's easy to do that. But it's hard to be one West. It's hard to stand for the Most High. That's why the scripture says, 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 15, to paraphrase it, to stand fast, stand strong, man, and uphold these traditions, whether you've been taught by word or epistle. Let's talk about the I.S.U.P.K since 1969. We've been doing that, man. We've been standing strong and rooted and booted in this truth, man. Now let's go back, Ibad. Go back to Daniel, the 3rd chapter. Now go to Daniel 3 and verse 13.
This is the book of Daniel 3, verse 13. When Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury.
And his what?
Rage and fury.
Nebuchadnezzar was upset. He was angry in his rage and his fury. He was so mad, man. If you put a cape on him, he'd be super mad. That's how upset Nebuchadnezzar was. Read on.
Commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
Now, he said, what you mean they're not going to do it? Bring them niggas right here to me. Bring them over here to me. I got to speak to them. Who the hell do they think they are? Read on.
Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true?
He said, is it true? Is it true? Those of you that, man, I have to, because when I get the energy I get, right, when I look at this, I just think about you being called into the office, right? You know, whether it's school or your slavery. You know how Esau, you know how these heathens talk. Well, is it true, Darrell? Is it true, Ibad? Is it true, Yediah? Is it true, Rad, that you won't bow down to my image? Is it true? Why? Don't you have it good in Babylon? Didn't I let you to be lords over different provinces? Don't you have money? Why can't you just compromise? Why can't you serve my gods? Forget about that God of that you serve that led you out of Egypt, that split the Red Sea, that made Egypt a desolate dust bowl. Serve the God that I just thought about 10 minutes ago. Serve that God. Read on.
O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
He said, you ain't serving my gods that I set up? Look at the arrogance of Nebuchadnezzar. It's right here in the scripture. He's saying that I have set up. Read on.
Verse 15. Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made.
Now, he's saying this. If you don't do this, this is how disrespectful Nebuchadnezzar is. He's like, all right, you put in a term y'all can understand, black man, Latino man, and woman. He like, we're going to try this again. I'm going to play the music. And if you don't bow down, read on.
Well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
He said, listen, if you don't comply, if you don't do it, you going in that fiery furnace. And what Nebuchadnezzar says next is so evil and so disrespectful to show you the spirit of these heathens, man. Read what he said.
And who is that God?
He said, who is that God? Read on.
That shall deliver you out of my hand.
Read that again.
And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand?
Nebuchadnezzar was so arrogant. He said, who is that God that's going to deliver you out of my hands? Who is that God? Well, we just read, brother, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Let's see how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego respond to Nebuchadnezzar in this threat. Because that's what it was, a threat. Read on.
Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
They like, well, Nebuchadnezzar, to put it in terms we all can understand. You sure you want to hear what I got to say? Are you ready for what we about to say, Nebuchadnezzar? You sure you want to hear this answer? You ain't gonna like it. Read on.
Verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace.
Now, they said, listen, if it be so, our God is able to deliver us from that fiery furnace. We talking about the God of blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We talk about Yahweh, the same God that made Egypt a desolate dust bowl, that brought, plagues unto Egypt, man, and destroyed them. That's the God we serve. Read on.
And he will deliver us out of thine hand.
He said he will deliver us out of our hand, out of your hand, man. You messing with the wrong God, Nebuchadnezzar. You must not know about our power, our Father. Christ said, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And he ain't everybody's Father. He's our God. And Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego understood this. But what they said next is what got me. What these brothers said after this is what was so hardcore. And I said, damn, these brothers were one less. Read what you got, Ibad.
Okay, verse 18. But if not.
But here's the thing. They said, but if not. Meaning even if our God, I say if our God doesn't want to deliver us. Because God can do whatever the hell he wants. He said, but if not, even if our God decides not to deliver us, read on.
Be it known unto them.
Be it known, meaning this. They got real stern with Nebuchadnezzar. They checked him and said, don't get it misconstrued. Don't get what we say all the time, Israel. Don't get it effed up. Even if our God don't deliver us, guess what?
Okay, that we will not serve thy gods.
We will not what?
Serve thy God.
They said, and this is what made Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego so one west. They said, even if the Most High won't do it, because he don't feel like it, guess what? Not because he can't. Let's just say God doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to deliver us from that. Even if he won't, guess what? We still not going to serve your gods, nigga. The hell are you to tell me to bow down to your image, man? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, man. I fear the Most High. The Lord said, fear the novice so he can kill the body. But fear the one that can kill the body in heaven and in hell. That's what we fear. And only Yahweh can do that. Read on.
Nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
He said, we ain't going to do it, Nebuchadnezzar. You just going to have to throw us in there. Throw us in there, throw away the key, and light a match. And matter of fact, make it hot. Read on.
Then, verse 19, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury and full.
Oh, man. He ain't like that answer. He got upset, brother. He was like, what? These slaves are saying what to me? Okay. They thought, Nebuchadnezzar thought he was going to punk us, man, and check our brothers, man. But they ain't fold. They end up checking him. Read on.
And the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
He was so angry, he couldn't even contain it. He showed how angry he was. He showed it. Read on.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it wont to be heated.
Man, he said, make it hotter, light it 7 times hotter. God damn, brother. Read on.
Verse 20, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
He got the strong Babylonians. He got the strong amongst his heathen people, man, to bind our brothers up in that furnace. Read on.
And to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Verse 21. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
They had their garments on. You see how I got my garment and my mitre on? They were dressed like me. They threw them right up in there just like that. Read on.
Verse 22. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent.
Now, because Nebuchadnezzar's commandment to his heathens to bound our brothers up quickly like that, it was so urgent that this happened. Read on.
And the furnace exceedingly hot.
Because it was 7 times hotter than normal. Read on.
The flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Because, remember he said he got the strong men out of his army to bind our brothers up? Well, they didn't even get out the furnace. That fire killed them immediately. It killed them heathens that bound up our brothers, man, immediately. Read on.
Verse 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
And they tied up and they fell down in the midst of the fiery burning furnace. Read on.
Verse 24. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished.
He was astonished. He was astonished. He was astonished. He was shocked. Nebuchadnezzar was doing this right here. What's going on? He looking like, what is this? Read on.
And rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors.
Now he talking to his counselors. He talking to his yes men. He was like, hold on, man. Hold on. Come here. Read on. What did he say?
Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
Nebuchadnezzar did this right here. He said, hold on. He said, hold on. Belshazzar, we said 3 niggas in there, right? 3? Not 4. We said 3 in there. Read on.
They answered and said unto the king, True, O king.
They said, yeah, true. Yeah, sir. You're right. We set 3 people in there. We set them 3 brothers up in there. Read on.
Verse 25. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose.
I see what?
4 men loose.
He said, I see 4 men loose. He said, hold on, I know we said 3 in there, but I see 4 men. Who was the 4th man? Let's find out. Read it.
Walking in the midst of the fire.
Walking around in the midst of the fiery furnace that was 7 times hotter, that killed the other heathens that tied our brothers up. They just walking around in there chilling. Read on.
And they have no hurt.
They have no hurt. Man, they ain't hurting. They ain't burning up. They tawab. They good. They in there chilling. And I know they was talking shit about Salaki for the leg. I know Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego was like, yo, I know they was like, look at Nebuchadnezzar looking at us. He like, how the hell did this happen? You know what I mean? Stepping over the burning corpses of the heathens that bound them up. Like who? Watch your step. He unclean. Dead body. Read on.
And the 4th of the 4th is like the Son of God.
And the 4th was what?
Like the Son of God.
Meaning an angel of the Lord came down, man, and protected our brothers Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, man. Did Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego compromise? No, they didn't. And understand this. Ain't nobody throwing you in no burning fiery furnace. Nobody's heating that up 7 times hotter. You mean to tell me you can't put pork down? You can't put weed down? You can't stop smoking crack? You can't stop being a whoremonger or a whore? I tell you, brother, sometimes I be looking like, man, it's rough out here, but it ain't that rough. It ain't that rough out here. You ain't going through what Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego went through. More importantly, man, Christ did not die so you can continue to be a homosexual anyway. A whoremonger and a whore and an evil, wicked bastard eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, man. Read verse 26, I buy you.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 26. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace.
He came out in front of it and was like, oh man, I am defeated. I lost. Read on.
And spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth.
He said, come forth, man. Get out that fiery furnace, man. Get out of there. I was wrong, man. And what we got to understand, man, as the Lord's chosen people, man, we have to understand, man, like as God's chosen people, that this is the type of strength that we have to have and the type of faith we have to have in our God. You don't got to serve the gods of the heathens, man. You don't have to compromise. Let's read on.
And come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. Verse 27. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power.
Man, they said, they looked at them, they said, yo, the fire didn't burn them at all. They are unscathed. They took, wow, read on.
Nor was an hair of their head singed.
Meaning none of the hairs on their head had any damage from them flames, man. Read on. Or out of place. Read on.
Neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of the fire had passed on them.
They walked out of there like they wasn't even in no fire. The smell of the fire wasn't even on them. Their garments weren't even charred or nothing like that. Which goes to show you, man, that our God is one God. And in verse 28 says, the Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel down and delivered his servants who trusted in him. And understand this, man, Nebuchadnezzar had to change his stance. He said, no, he had to change his tune. He understood who the real God is, man, the God of Israel, the God of Black, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. And his name is Yahweh. You don't have to compromise. All you got to do is just have some faith. Hebrews 11:3 says, to paraphrase that, man, you know what I mean? Faith is the substance of things not seen. It's like Hebrews 11:1. Faith, you know what I mean, is something of things not seen. You know what I mean? Understand this, man. Our people are the people that need a sign, but you got to have some faith, man, and believe on the Most High. Now, let's go to Daniel, the 6th chapter. Give me Daniel 6:1, brother. I'll give you another one. I'll give you another one. What we have to understand, man, as the Lord's chosen people. Now I'm gonna go into Daniel himself and how they tried to set Daniel up. Give me Bel and the Dragon, where the Lord came to Habakkuk to bring Daniel the truth.
Okay.
Again, if y'all have any questions, I'll be answering y'all questions tonight. Raise your hand, brother, when you have it. Daniel 6:1, you got it, boy.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 1. Then please Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. Verse 2.
Now, this is after the Babylonians, right? Now, the first captivity we were under was under the Babylonians. Now, in Daniel, the 7th chapter, it talks about the 4 beasts. Now, Babylon was the first one. And then this one is the Persians and the Medes. Read on.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 2. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Verse 3.
Read verse 3. Read verse 2 again, brother. See for a minute. Can you read verse 2 again?
Daniel chapter 6, verse 2. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them.
Now, here's the crazy thing, right? Daniel was a lot like Meshach and Abednego. He was in captivity with them. And Daniel was over 3 presidents, whom Daniel was first. Daniel was in charge of these heathens. Daniel had real power under the Persians and the Medes, man. And guess what? It says, and the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage, meaning they had to report to Daniel. They ain't like that. They ain't like that. The Persians and the Medes today are the East Indians, right? About the East Indians, Persians and the Medes. I guess they're either the Persians and the Medes are East Indians or they're Iran. I want to say they Iran. I have to ask Officer Bunt. Don't quote me on that, Israel. Always jam that up. It's in my notes. I understand that they heathens. Now, they ain't like that at all. They did not like that. They ain't like having to report to Daniel, an Israelite man of the tribe of Judah being over there. Read on.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 3. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and the princes.
Daniel was preferred above all their presidents and princes. Meaning, they messed with Daniel. He was a cool brother. They liked him. Not everybody, but he was preferred by the Darius, the heathen king at the time, man. And they hated him for that. They tried to set Daniel up. We're going to read about it. Daniel in the Hebrew. Read on.
Because an excellent spirit was in him.
An excellent spirit was in Daniel, man. Read on.
And the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
Man, they said we're going to make Daniel over the whole realm. The realm is like, being the head of the realm is like being like more than a government, a president. Like Daniel was about to be given more authority over a vast, large amount of land. Read on.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 4. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom.
Meaning what? What does it mean they sought occasion against Daniel?
They tried to find some dirt on
You gotta reach your hand, brother. Yeah, go ahead.
They tried to find some dirt on him.
I'll take it a step further. They tried to set him up. Find dirt on him. I'll accept that. They tried it. They said, man, we got to do something about Daniel. Read on.
But they could find none occasion nor fault.
They said, damn, this brother perfect. Man, he don't do no wrong. They said, God damn, he don't mess up. Read on.
For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
Even though he was faithful, there was no error. Meaning you wasn't going to catch Daniel slipping. Wasn't going to happen. He wasn't that type of brother. Meaning Daniel did what he's supposed to do. Kept the laws like it's in commandments, man. Honorable and respectable brother, man. They couldn't find no occasion against him. They couldn't set him up. They couldn't find no fault with him. They couldn't, catch him in an area where he was slipping. But they came up with something diabolical. Read on.
Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
Against the what?
Against the law of his God.
They said, okay, we ain't going to catch him. We ain't going to be able to find no dirt on him like the brother said. You know what I mean? We ain't going to be able to catch him slipping that way. But you know what? Let's see if we can catch him, you know what I mean? And cause him, except we find it against the law of his God. Let's see if we can go against his God. Let's see what he'll do. Read verse 6.
Daniel 6, verse 6. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains, have consulted together.
Meaning they all came together to kiss Darius' ass and to try to set Daniel up. Read on.
To establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree that whoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions.
They shall be what?
Shall be cast into the den of lions.
They set Daniel up, man. They said, hold up. They created an entire law. That's what they mean, like had a decree. When they said a decree and established, you know what I mean, a firm decree and a statute, they set up laws for Daniel. That they had to catch him that way. They said if anyone for 30 days, because they knew Daniel was going to pray. They knew Daniel was going to disregard that, or he was going to, which he did not do, compromise and not serve the Most High, not pray. He knew Daniel wasn't going to do that. But understand this. They said, man, you're gonna be cast in the lion den if you go and serve your God. You gotta wait 30 days. Now, drop down to verse 10. Now drop down to verse 9 from the book of show. As a matter of fact, no. Read verse 8. I want this to be important. I want this to be understood too. Read verse 8 for me. We keep reading from where you at. Like read verse 8.
Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it not be changed.
It not be changed. They said that because they knew Darius might have got soft for Daniel and let him slide. They said, if you sign this, king, let it so that nobody can change it, even yourself. Read on.
According to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not.
Which altereth not, meaning this. Even Darius couldn't do nothing about it if somebody got caught slipping. You know what I mean? If they broke that law. Read on.
Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree.
He signed it. He signed the writing and he signed the decree. Read on.
Daniel 6, verse 10. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house.
Now, Daniel knew that the writing was signed. He knew what they did. He like, all right, no sweat. Now, for those that might not have read this before, you think Daniel decided not to serve the Most High, Yahweh, for 30 days? What do you think Daniel's getting ready to do? Let's read on, bro.
Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being opened, in his chamber towards Jerusalem.
Man, Daniel opened up his windows in his chambers and was getting ready to pray. Daniel was like, the hell were they talking about? I'm not doing that. I'm going to continue to serve my God. Read on.
He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime.
Daniel kept it pushing. He said, no, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. I'm going to keep praying to my God. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka. You know what I mean? How Malakwa, Taba'ah, Ratazayah, Hayah. Daniel went up and still continued to pray and serve our God, man. Daniel was like, the hell what they talking about? Let's read on.
Daniel 6, verse 11. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God.
They was like, we got that nigga now. We caught it. We knew we was going to get him. We got him, my boy. Read on.
Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions?
They said, hold on, Darius, but you signed a decree that said whoever messed up, that they had to go into the lion's den. Don't get soft now. You signed this. Read on.
The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah.
Meaning Daniel was of the children of the captivity of Judah, meaning Daniel was an Israelite. Daniel was up, man. Understand this, black man, Latino man and woman. He's talking about us. This is our captivity. We under the Persians and the Medes now, man. Daniel was of the captivity of Judah. And Daniel was of the tribe of Judah, black man. Read on.
Regardeth not thee, O king.
He regardeth not. They like, listen, they snitching hard. Daniel regardeth not. He ain't even do it. Read on.
Nor the decree that thou hast signed.
Nor the decree as thou hast signed. Read on.
But maketh his petition 3 times a day.
Maketh his petition 3 times a day. Now drop down to verse 16. Now they had to cast Daniel into the lion's den. They threw him in there. Now read on.
Daniel 6, verse 16. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions.
They gripped Daniel up and threw him into the den of lions, man. They threw him in there. Read on.
Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God, whom thou servest continuously, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den.
Now they left us. They threw Daniel into the lions den, right? They threw a den and they threw him in there, and they put a stone and put it right there. You know what I mean? Where he couldn't even, where they couldn't even, you know what I mean? Where it couldn't even be open from the outside. Read on.
And the king sealed it with his own signet.
Mm-hmm.
And with the signet of it, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose not be changed concerning gain.
Now, let's go to Bel and the Dragon, Ibahaya. Start at 30.
Oh God. This is the history of the Bell and the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 1 and verse 30.
Now, going into the same thing. Let's read on. Hear what you got.
Now when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them.
Now, they delivered Daniel unto him. Read on, meaning Daniel was placed in the lion's den. Go ahead.
Verse 31. Who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days.
Daniel was in there how many days?
6 days.
They threw Daniel in the lion's den for 6 days. Daniel was not in there one day or one night. Daniel was in there 6 days with hungry lions. And it's about to go into that. When I read this, I said, well, goddamn. Read on.
Verse 32. And in the den there were 7 lions.
There was 7 lions in that den. Full-grown 7 lions. Read on.
And they had given them every day 2 carcasses and 2 sheep.
Listen, every day they would give them 2 big carcasses. Like, imagine these lions were given like 2 big buffalo or wildebeest. You know, they get huge, and 2 sheep. Got some lamb, got some goat too. You know what I mean? They got the sheep, 2 sheep, and 2 carcasses, 2 big carcasses. This is what 7 lions ate, but this is what the heathens did, man. They try to get Daniel. Read on.
Which they were not given to them, to the intent that they might devour Daniel.
To what?
To the intent that they might devour Daniel.
Now, this all happened to Daniel, right? Because he didn't listen, you know what I mean, to the Persians and the Medes law. He said, hell with that. I'm going to keep my God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Now he's in the lion's den for 6 days with lions that have not eaten in 6 days, right? They have not eaten in 6 days, and they used to get 2 carcasses and 2 sheep a day. Now, these lions are starving. Now, here's the heavy thing, and my question for the class. What if I told you, right, that somebody did eat within them days? Somebody did eat, and it wasn't the lions. What I showed you in the Bible, just how powerful our God really is. Why our God is one God, black man, Latino man, and woman. Why it's important not to compromise this truth, even if you're thrown into a goddamn lion's den with 7 hungry lions.
Right.
Let me show you what our God can do. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Keep reading, my bud.
This is the book of history of the Bell and the Dragon, chapter 1 and verse 33. Now, there was in Jewry a prophet.
In Judea.
Called Habakkuk.
Now, there was a prophet in Judea called Habakkuk. We all know the book of Habakkuk that's in the Bible, right? Habakkuk is the same Habakkuk. This Habakkuk right here is the same Habakkuk that's in the Bible, the book of Habakkuk. Like how in Jeremiah, it talks about Baruch, like in the Apocrypha, they have the book of Baruch. The book of Baruch is canon, just like Habakkuk. Guess what? Habakkuk was a prophet that was in Judea. He's in Jerusalem. He's in Israel. He's in Judea right now. Daniel's in Babylon. Babylon is thousands of miles away. Read on.
Who had made potters, and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field, for to bring it to the reapers.
Now, Habakkuk, he in Judea. He chilling. He like, you know what, let me go make some pottage, make some stew. I'm going to make some stew, get some bread. I'm going to make it for the Akim and the Akwafi. He getting ready to feed, you know what I mean, the remnant of us Israelites, because not all of us went into Babylon. They took the best of us into Babylon. The majority of us went to Babylon, but there were some of us that did not go, that we were still, you know what I mean, toughing it out in Judea, man, like in Israel, going through it. Now, Habakkuk's getting ready to go bring this food to the Akim and Akwafi, bring it to the brothers and the sisters. Now read, but you keep reading.
Verse 34. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den.
Now imagine you being Habakkuk, right? You making food for all the brothers and sisters, and the angel of the Lord come to you and say, Habakkuk, you're going to Babylon. Bring that food to Daniel. Now put yourself in Habakkuk's shoes for a minute. Habakkuk is probably thinking about three things. One, Habakkuk don't even know where Babylon is. Two, he like Daniel. He like Daniel's in the lion den. He's probably like, I ain't seen Daniel in 20 years. That's like, he's probably like, I ain't seen my brother in how long? He in the lion's den? Habakkuk probably got a lot of questions right now. Read on.
Verse 35. And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is.
He like, but Lord, he said to the angel, but I don't want Salakia, sir. I ain't never been to Babylon. I don't even know where the den is. I don't know where to look. He shouldn't have did that. I'm gonna tell you what. Read on.
Verse 36. Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown.
The angel of the Lord took him by the crown. Meaning the angel of the Lord was like, Habakkuk, I'm sick of your shit. Gripped Habakkuk up like this, picked him up by his head, by his crown. Read on.
And bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit.
Can you imagine the angel of the Lord grabbing you by your fro, grabbing you by your braids, your individuals, gripping you up like this, like, nigga, did I ask you that? Read on.
Set him in Babylon over the dead.
The angel took you and then you walked to Babylon. Habakkuk like, oh my goodness. And he looking around like, oh shit. Read on.
Verse 37. And Habakkuk cried, saying, Oh Daniel.
He see Daniel. He probably seen Daniel in so long. He like, Daniel. Salakia, sir. Read on.
Take the dinner which God hath sent thee.
Take the what?
Dinner which God hath sent thee.
Take the dinner which God hath sent thee. Daniel sat in that lion den for 6 days with 7 hungry lions. Them lions ain't eat, but Daniel did. That's gotta be, listen, Israel. That's what our God can do. Shut the mouths of them. And if you read back in Daniel, the 6th chapter, it says the angel of the Lord shut the lion's mouth. They did not hurt Daniel because innocency was found in him. You know what I mean? The Lord shut the lion's mouth, but they didn't even touch Daniel. Daniel was in there chilling and eating. Daniel ate. The lions didn't eat yet. Read on.
God. Verse 38. And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O God.
He said, Thou hast remembered me, O God. Daniel was so happy. He said, man, the Lord remembered me. If I could, brother, hold Romans chapter 8 and verse 31 for me. Hold Romans 8 and 31. Read on. All right, bud.
Neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee.
Man, listen. Said, you have forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. God is not going to forsake you, man. If you seek the Lord and you love him, man. What is love according to God? Second John 1 and 6 says, and this is love, that ye walk after his commandments, man. Meaning to keep the laws like it's in commandments. That's what love is. You love the Most High and you're keeping these laws like it's in commandments. The Lord ain't going to forsake you, man. You got to seek him first. I pray you understand. Now read verse 39.
Verse 39. So Daniel arose and did eat.
Daniel arose and ate. Read on.
And the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately.
Then the angel of the Lord picked Habakkuk up, right? Picked him up again and put him back in Judea. Now, I have to do this, and I have to. Because when I read this, I was like, yeah, I know Habakkuk was bringing food to everybody else, and I know when he came back, it was like, Habakkuk, what were you at? What was you doing? He was like, man, the angel of the Lord came, picked me up, and we went to Babylon. Everybody believed him, but Habakkuk's real. You know Habakkuk's wife wasn't going for that shit. You know, I know when Habakkuk got home and told his wife that the angel of the Lord came and picked him up and took him to Babylon, I know his rib was like, nigga, you a goddamn liar. The angel of the Lord came to you. You was out there at that bitch crib in Babylon. That's where you were. You ain't seen Daniel. You ain't seen Daniel in 20 years. You was at that woman. You was at that other White House, huh? I can only imagine what happened at home to tell that story. Everybody probably, I know we probably believed him. I know his wife was not going for none of that. Salakia. But let's read on to verse 40.
Verse 40. Upon the seventh day, the king went to bewail Daniel. And when he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting.
He came down, and the king came in there. Darius came in and saw Daniel in there chilling. Read on.
Verse 41. Then cried the king with a loud voice, saying, Great, O thou, O Lord God of Daniel, and there is none other besides thee. Verse 42.
And he said, Great art thou, O Lord God of Daniel, O Yahweh, there is none other beside thee. Meaning there ain't no other God that can come close to our God, black man, Latino man, and woman. Read on.
Verse 42. And he drew him out and cast those that were the cause of his destruction into the den. And they were devoured in a moment.
They were devoured in a moment. Now, if I go back to Daniel 6 and verse 24.
Okay.
Let's go. It wasn't just them, brother, that got devoured. The men that did this to Daniel, it wasn't just them. Oh, something else happened. He said, "Oh, those men, it ain't enough. Them lions get 6 carcasses. They get 2 carcasses and 2 sheep per day. Oh no, not just those men that did this to Daniel. It's something else." Read that, Ibad.
This is the book of Daniel, 6 verse 24. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions.
He cast them into the den of lions. Read on.
Then their children.
Their what?
Their children.
Man, they threw their kids in there as well. The men that accused Daniel, they went in there. Their kids went in there. Read on.
And their wives.
Their wives. Ooh, man, meaning them, their kids, and their wives all had to go into that same lion's den that they threw our brother Daniel in. And mind you, it's 7 of them, and they haven't eaten in 7 days. Read on.
And the lions had the mastery of them.
The lions had the what?
Mastery of them.
They had mastery of them. Them lions was like, the water, Lord. Read on.
And break all their bones in pieces. Wherever they came at the bottom of the den.
And break all their bones and made a real mastery of them. Ate them up. I bring this out for this reason. I want y'all to understand this, black man, Latino man, and woman. Read Romans in verse 8, Romans 8 and 31, brother. And
Romans chapter 8, verse 31. What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?
If God be for us, who can be against us? Meaning this, if God is for us, black man, Latino man, and woman, who can be against us, man? They can't mess with us if we doing what our God said to do. I'm going to read one more scripture. Write this down in y'all notes. I'm going to read Exodus chapter 22, right, in verse 22. Exodus 22 and verse 23. Salaki. Bear with me one second. No, Exodus 23 and verse 22. Yeah. Bear with me, Israel, one second. Exodus chapter 23 and verse 22 says this, black man, Latino man, and woman. Well, I'm going to start at verse 22. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies and an adversary unto thine adversaries. Meaning this, God will be an enemy unto our enemies and an adversary unto our adversaries.
Right.
Because our enemies and adversaries are God's enemies and adversaries. That's why it's important to do what God said to do. to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, and don't compromise. Daniel was in a high position, and so was Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego amongst the heathens, but they did not compromise this truth, man. They stood strong and chose to honor the Most High, man. They understood, to paraphrase Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 13, that this is the duty of man, that we keep his commandments, man, to keep the commandments of our God. And with that being said, I'm Priest and Officer 1000 Yadai. This is the Thursday night history class. Make sure y'all tune in to Black Watch every Monday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Black Watch News, man. Commanding General Yahanna. Driving it thick, man, with General Muhammad and General Mayak and General Hazayan. Also, every Monday morning at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., 12 show General Hazayan. Let a Hebrew speak. Every Wednesday, man. Ask Ye the Prophets with 12 show General Mayaka Allah, man. From at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tune in to Cross the Line Radio tonight, man, at 10 p.m. And tune in to One West Radio with Captain Godal Hall. Also, black man, Latino man, and woman, I'm urging you all to pay your tithes. You're giving the homosexual Christian church and Muslim eyes all the goddamn money, man. Well, you need to be paying the tithes to Commander General Yohanna and the Israelite School of I.S.U.P.K. They take your tithes money and spend it on cocaine and whores. We take that tithes money and we feed black, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We go to Mexico to feed our Hispanic and Haitian brothers and sisters, man. And with that being said, I'm going to pass the class off to Priest and Officer I.S.U.P.K.
Give that priest and officer a round of a hand, Brother Shaw. I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves up the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister.